It's time for part 2 of the Farewell My Turnabout trial. We are currently trying to pin the blame on an innocent person. That's my theory anyway. So that my client can run away scot-free. And I can be a happy little lawyer. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your... I can't... Okay. Because she was the one that came to wake me up. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she's the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze? Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Slash Impact's missing note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. We already know this. Then Miss Impacts suddenly kills herself. Sounds like she has the victim, and that's why I think got close. Yep. One thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. No kidding. But Edgeworth also didn't... In theory, he did not know he was going to be prosecuting this trial. He's just trying to teach us a little lesson. Court will now reconvene. The prosecution calls the witness. What? Okay. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Miss Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Angard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter, or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. Well, I am. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well, then, witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. After? That's weird. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense, is the instant this trial is over, understood? So just press, 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 press. I'm really good at that. When I found the body, when I found the body. When I found the body was dead. When I found the dead body was very dead. And what was Mr. Ungar doing at this time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. You did say he was taking a nap, but I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you?
Objection!
Right. I thought to use it. If you can't make a sensible sentence with the subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Angard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. After that, I went to Juan's room. That's really funny. You called us out. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with other heroes. So the show is supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? She's a calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. What I saw was naturally, This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too? Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? That's so weird. Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corda, you were in great shock, and that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? Oh. This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. Looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. What kind of flower vase was it? It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse. So So I set the glass I was holding down on the dresser, and that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. No glaring contradictions. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is some very strong, decisive evidence. I'm afraid, I'm kind of scared the only way to help is going to be to maybe show a certain note that I really would prefer not to. No? I just feel like I feel like it's weird that the glass didn't get knocked over. It's just weird. Everything about this is so weird. If I came across a dead body, I wouldn't think, I'm about to faint. I better drink some tomato juice. I have absolutely no idea. I really don't want to show you that note. I'm already stuck and it's only the first one. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, It wasn't time for the show to start because he died. Hold on. When did the show actually start? Was it actually? It probably was, but where's the autopsy report? Autopsy. There we go. 8:15. Was the show actually gonna start soon? I don't remember. Okay, it was. That's fine. I don't know how to crack holes in this testimony. Oh, it didn't fall onto. Hold on. It didn't fall onto the guitar case. It fell next to it, right? It's not. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Hold on. Yeah. Duh. You testify that you knocked the flower vase over, is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem, it's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what was so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Well, it's just weird. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. What is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, right? He has no patience for us. That is the case. That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over. Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be, however. The empty guitar case does seem to have no relation, doesn't it? Seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think you can hear more details about the guitar case? The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. Can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. Weird. Weird. Okay. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Weird. That is a weird testimony. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man. Honestly, I feel like he would have been more friendly with us if we'd been nice to him when we saw him. But we were all like, Edward, we hate you. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure you were the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews? Yes, it was me. So, you opened the guitar case then? Yes, well maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Carter's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Mr. Potter. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. You just said you did know. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue protesting like this. The only way to make it is evidence. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let her up now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now. So this is our chance. I'm sure a weapon is hiding in the court record, waiting to be found. What weapon? Okay. He didn't have his guitar that day. I do know that much. Okay. Hold on. It doesn't have her fingerprints on it. Okay, yeah, hold on. It doesn't have your fingerprints on it, stupid. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. My dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. She was wearing gloves. She was wearing gloves. But we don't want her to think she's wearing gloves. Okay. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves. That's weird since that's in the costume. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Do I? That was her wearing the gloves. Okay, hold on. We'll show that if we have to. Okay, nothing there. I think I might have to show... I think I'm gonna show the costume. No! Oh no, because her fingerprints are on the glass. Gadurr. I'm so stupid. Okay. I have your proof right here, this wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Oh. Even if I took your gloves off, if you took your gloves off and you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Oh, her glasses broke. Order! Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that, so the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case. What if the letter was in there? Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer to the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us into his misguided... I think the letter was in there. No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you were so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? I can. Let me save this real quick. But yeah, no, 100% it was the letter, the suicide letter of the one chick. 110%. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only... You don't mean there's black... So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that right? I wouldn't say that's something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours, you haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one? Oh. Really? That's not it? Okay, hold on. Foolish fool. He called himself a foolish fool. Yeah. What was in there? Okay, it wasn't... It wasn't the report. That's crazy. Okay, hold on. It's so confusing. Why would it not be that? I'm just very confused. I swear it has to be that. I don't... It wasn't that, because I was taken by what's-her-face. No. That's a whole nother issue. No. No. What was in here? What if we mentioned something like... Maybe it's not the report, you just have to put her name in here? No? Okay. Fine. Be that way. What? It's not the report? What is it then? I don't... What else would it be if it's not the report? I don't... And I know I promised not to use it, so maybe I'm actually supposed to be a good person and not use it, but I swear I'm probably going to need to use it at some point. It's not the tabloid. No one cares about that. There's water. Okay, what haven't I tried yet? It's not the... Okay, it's not the autopsy. I've tried this. I've tried this. Not gonna be the knife. It's not gonna be the photo, because that old bag had that. A button? What if it's the radio transceiver? No. Okay. Let me think. What else would it be? I guess we could try. Let's try the murder weapon. No. Okay. I hate cheating like this, but like I have no idea if it's not the letter. Why would it not be the letter? I don't understand. Maybe they took Lotta's camera? No. I'm out of options. I haven't the slightest clue. Okay, it's not gonna be any of that stuff. The article? It's not. It's gotta be something better than that. The button? I am so confused. Why would it not be the report, actually? It was the letter. We already tried that. Wine glass. The wine glass? I'm just trying different things. I honestly... Okay. Hold on. I gotta figure this out. So weird. Okay, so it's supposedly... Okay, it said it was this thing? Apparently? I had to look up. I had no idea. This is a photograph. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. Oh! Really? Inside this guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Yeah, that's not what I thought. I thought for sure it was the note. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea, do I? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo. Good job, Phoenix. I was not smart enough to figure that one out, not gonna lie. Order in the court. Looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt on guards. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True, that is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this doing inside the guitar case? I think it was a different one. Because he was in it. Mr. Argo did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought the spare to the ceremony on purpose. That's why he didn't know about it. Oh, but why? The victim, Mr. Korra, was in the Jam and Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? He didn't know. And therein lies the sticking point. No, he didn't know about the meeting. Well, what are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai's costume was... Whoa. Oh, he was gonna confess something. Right? It was to confess something on behalf of him. Yes? It has to be this. What is this? On the night of the murder after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up right. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. On Guard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can only mean one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes, the spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. What if we get her convicted and then we represent her when they say she did it when she didn't? The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. I love trying to predict what's going to happen. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Angard. Yes, I guess that's what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Miss Andrews. I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer an explanation.
I was the one who asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You.
Juan had bet everything on the Jam and Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him.
It looked like somehow Juan had his hands on a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What? Do you know what the secret of Mr. Angard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all.
Protect Mr. Angard? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us about the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. This is crazy. Crazy for feeling so lonely. Okay. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him.
What? Doesn't explain anything. This does account for it. No, it doesn't.
Well, I am the logical type.
We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep in mind that as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. I just have to put my weight on this and turn her logic upside down. Protecting Matt. BS. Would you say that this was your intuition speaking?
Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear.
You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that us in school, at least not from what I remember.
May I continue now?
So would you say this need came from the press conference?
Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could most damage to the public beloved.
Whoa. I said that wrong. You knew this one, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. Engard himself didn't know anything about the press conference.
Oh, really? Could you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. I agree. Miss Andrews, correct your testimony.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right.
What was it? Has Mr. Engard done something to hurt or betray you personally?
Why do you ask?
You were the one who helped Mr. Corrida with his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Engard. You still helped out. The person on trial right now is Mr. Engard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that 2 was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Engard?
I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can say the same for some people in the courtroom, however. The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage.
Then, what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim had his murderer fought, and during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button.
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama. Isn't that correct? I would think that it makes it very decisive evidence.
No. Looks like you were outfoxed. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Add this information to your testimony. And how do you know that?
When the ends of the threads and the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard.
I've heard that before too. Why would Miss Andrews know about the case in such fine detail?
Don't look at me like that. Just because I'm prepared and you are not.
I thought I had heard this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up, it has to be here. But where and what? But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? The witness could have disclosed things about Mr. On Guard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Koreda planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. On Guard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. And please stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me, it sounds a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? You should know this by now. But you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. Well, I don't have any strong, decisive evidence. I'm sure I do somewhere. Hold on. Alright, guys. Let's figure this out. Am I smart enough to outsmart the person? What's right here? Okay. So it was torn off. We can see that much. He said he thinks it's this part. Okay, what did we talk about here again? Okay, she said they're kind of giving me hints. So it's something here. The button was turned off of Juan during his fight with Matt. So we have to find evidence. No? I'm over you, lady. You're so annoying. Oh, shoot. Wishy-washy. It's not wishy-washy, Mia, whatever. Maya and Mia. I felt that I had to protect him. So present evidence that maybe you didn't feel the need to protect him. How did you know that? I just don't. How did you know that? No, that's not it either. Okay, okay, we get it. We get it. You guys are mean. I knew this one was trying to prove him right. Okay, so it's someone with the button. They've clearly hinted at that. We already talked about that. It's not that. During his fight. String. Is there actually proof that they fought before? I tried presenting the knife to prove a point, but I don't think that did it. Okay. I'm not sure where they're going at, though. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean?
I've been saying that this whole time. Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when... Oh, I see. After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means... That's actually... You can't prove that, though. It is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. It is possible, though. Because the victim was strangled to death in this fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's body when it was already dead. Order, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of this right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does that mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? Yeah, to pin the crime. Duh. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Angard. There's no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Angard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer? It's not her. Finally, I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. We're gonna say it's her, but I don't think it's actually her.
Take that!
Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Mr. Coda's killer. I choose that one. What? Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous. Can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Angard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you! The glass is breaking. How many glasses does she have just sitting in her pocket? Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Angard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Angard's hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found in the guitar case, and it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there is this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime.
No reasonable person on Earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Angard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Roasted. Please stop. Roasted. Toasted and burnt. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews.
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify, the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Angard's room. Adrian Andrews.
Yes?
Think hard about what we just discussed, understood?
Alright.
Oh, Von Karma. You little turd. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not to testify if things look bad.
You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done.
Something I haven't done?
What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
Oh, the motive. What's so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
No motive.
What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Miss Corda.
But I don't want to... No! Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corda?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do?
Somehow we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. The defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do. That is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial?
Tomorrow.
Maya! We don't have it tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. Oh no! That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for?
Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... But that's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that's true, but...
Actually, there's one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and... I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. That's what I'm saying. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should have no way implicate the witness. I don't know what is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he a friend or foe? I just don't know.
I am a poet, and I didn't even know it.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
Goodness. This probably is the last little part, isn't it? That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state, and Juan, who was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, but thought he was dead, didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something. So I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
How would you not know he's dead? He's stabbed.
You poured the glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left.
I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Let me just do a quick little savety save. Okay. He had a knife in him!
Slumped over?
Yes, he was sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping.
Is it just me, or does that sound a little odd?
How?
Then what did cross your mind?
I thought maybe he had smashed everything up in anger because he lost the Grand Prix, and then felt tired after his rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought.
You thought he fainted?
I thought he was asleep at first. And then the room was in such a messy state, I thought maybe he had gone into a fight with someone.
And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice.
Yes, he always has a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink.
After that, what happened next? And how did you come to realize he was in fact dead?
I shook him over and over, but I got no response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backward.
And you knocked the flower vase over, so that's what happened.
Yes.
This is what it all comes down to. This is the absolute end for both sides, and Adrienne is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh, Miss Andrews? Will you tell us the truth this time? Let's make sure I don't need to press in anything else. There wasn't anyone else in the room. Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Wait a little longer. Be quiet and listen. That's funny. Okay. Okay. So it was a mess? Are you sure it was a mess because of your fight? Leading. I understand your frustrations at not being able to prove your theory. However, before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Okay. So nothing we can press on. How? He has a knife in him. There is a knife in his chest. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him?
No, not at all.
Even though this is what you discovered when you discovered the body? Or what you saw? What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Corda's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought here was a dead man.
That's well, you see.
I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie is proving one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer.
No. Curses.
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt on guard, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
I don't think it was her, but you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself?
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Oh, that she stole the letter.
Like, I don't...
Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Mountain Guard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth? What's wrong, Phoenix?
Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt on guard.
Objection!
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness is yet to speak the absolute real truth.
Well, that's not how the court actually works, Edward. The absolute real truth. What are you...
Witness, don't you understand yet? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Mr. Matt on guard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you.
What?
I was told if I spoke, it would be all over, and that would never be declared guilty.
What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it?
I can't speak about it. I'm too scared.
It's Francisca von Karma.
Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself.
Then right now, Miss Andrews is...
Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word no matter what happens. If you do, Matt on guard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging onto them.
Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That is my only priority. Oh...
It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help, please, someone.
We're gonna defend her next. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this, therefore I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime.
Who's the real mastermind? Isn't it obvious? I don't know, maybe Maya's kidnapper? There's no one else who could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Phoenix Wright? Whoa. You have to testify. Come on. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. On Guard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this, however. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court.
Stop. Mr. Edgeworth. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness.
What?
And because of this illness, she has tried to commit in the past.
Stop, please stop.
No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. She's not pitiful! The secret of her dependent nature. Have other people known how it scares her more than anything else in the world? Or having other people know?
Please stop, I beg you. If people find out,
If you're going to say you would choose death, then that is no concern to me. Edward! How can you be so cold? Literally. However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me.
I'll talk, but please help me.
Oh, this is crazy. Nothing matters anymore.
When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room, and then I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. That's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
What now? Stab the body with a knife, but why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth.
The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time.
Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Angard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? The real murderer is the kidnapper. Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
No, I don't wanna. You can't make me.
But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight? Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead?
He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf was part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume. I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd woke him up and pour the juice.
Oh, okay, I actually do believe that. What is this plan you had?
I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt.
So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button.
The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
That was so you could get the knife, correct?
The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime.
But the locks didn't appear when he said he didn't kill him, so I think it was that butler. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife.
It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moves on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect.
So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and plant it on Mr. Angard's hakama.
Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they?
What inconvenience? An inconvenience?
There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway.
I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta.
There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth.
That was Miss Oldbag for you.
I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking at like myself and get caught again.
I think she's telling the truth. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you?
Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony.
You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct?
Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
And what is the secret?
That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that the Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Engarde's room and planted the button.
Into Matsukama? Yes. After that, I folded the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
What does this all mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Engarde. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk.
Francisca, huh?
She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, that Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. But, wait, Your Honor. The defense is still... Right.
It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Anderson on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. But they also don't point to us, our guy, either. The cross-examination is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
Oh no, Maya. That is all. Court is adjourned.
Maya! Shoo! Maya! Maya! Shoot.
Today's trial is over, and I didn't win an acquittal.
Witness, would you mind if I asked you something?
Edgeworth?
What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day.
The room? That day?
Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him.
You found that card next to the victim's body?
I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right?
Yeah, I guess not, but it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see... Witness, that card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This, I can't believe you hid this from me all this time.
I didn't mean to.
What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. I have. That card, what in the world is it? And what does it mean?
What the heck is this?
I'm so sorry, Maya. I didn't save your life.